Welcome to the Don't Die Rusty podcast. I'm Rick Hansen, and we will be talking about living, not dying. We're all in this adventure together, and we will be interviewing people who inspire us to live our best lives. People with various backgrounds who will walk us down the trails they took to not die rusty. Adventure in life are many things to many people. It could be a sprint or an endurance race, but with each adventure, we become a better version of us. We hope you keep chasing those dreams, being the best you, and of course, don't die rusty. Hello, Don't Die Rusty Nation. We are here tonight to have another wonderful conversation with our fabulous co-host, Rick McLovin.
Rick McLovin here. Happy to be
McLovin, yes. And Mitch Gordon, he's a traveling musician out of Minnesota, of the Mitch Gordon Band. So this is it's not like a name of a band, it's a name of Mitch.
Oh, I've never been introduced like that, but there's always a first time for everything.
It's not like I'm trying to think of a band. It's not like Alabama, it's like Mitch Gordon.
Yeah, it's like the guy.
The guy, It's so well, it's funny. I want to start out here by introducing Mitch a little bit. We have all of us have the same friend who will not do a podcast with any of us, and his name's Tommy Carroll. And so I hope he listens to this today so we can peer pressure him into doing a podcast someday.
Yeah. Yeah, I just saw him today too. He was in our shop.
Well, I'll be darned.
Working on his boat right now.
Well, cool, because here's the funny thing, Tommy. How many years ago did you play in Spearfish, Mitch? I can't remember.
I want to say like five or 6 years ago, maybe. Yeah, I think
it was funny because Tommy texted me and said, "My friend's playing in Spearfish. You need to go see him." So I ended up going to see him, and we had that conversation that night, and then we've talked here and there every once in a while since then.
Yeah, my Deer Pea guy, Tom.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember when I went, Tom, he wouldn't do a podcast with me either. So shame on him. But I remember I met him at a show, like probably, I don't know, 10 years ago. And then he said, "Hey, I got something for you in my car. I got you a care package." And I'm like, "Who?" I was like, "Who is this guy again?" And then he like gave me this box of stuff, and I was like, "I think I know who this guy is, but I'm not sure." And then like I opened it up, and it was all this deer pea and like everything. I was like, "Oh yeah, we talked about that." So yeah, see, he connected me with you, and you showed me the whole Spearfish Canyon and took me around. And I think like for me, I play for a lot of different people, and there's some people that just like stick, and I feel like I'm bummed a lot of the times because I live so far away from all the people that I think I could be really, really good buddies with and like hang out with and shoot bow or, go fishing or whatever with.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel like there's guys out there like you, Rick, that we just stay in touch with because we share the same couple friends, and that's like good people after good people. I think that goes a long ways.
Yeah.
Well, and Ricky, it's funny because it wasn't. Or was it? No, it wasn't New Year. Was it New Year's Eve? Or no, it wasn't New Year's Eve yet that we went out to see you in Sheridan. When we went to the Mint Bar.
Yeah, it was that week, I think, right?
Yeah, it was that week. So yeah, because I saw Mitch was playing in Sheridan at the Beartooth Brewery.
Yeah.
Blacktooth
Brewery.
And it's funny because I like Saddle Bronc Brown out of the Blacktooth Brewery, and I can't remember. But it's funny because Cindy and I drove out and had a great time with you guys. We had supper, and then we went to listen to you play at Blacktooth, and then we went down to the world famous Mint Bar and had a drink afterwards, and it was just a fun time,
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, when I got your message that you're gonna come see us, I was like, see me or whatever. I was like, man, we got to meet for dinner and like got to try to do something about it, you know. But when you're on the road and you're just going, there's not much time, unfortunately. But we made it happen, and I dumped my wife off with you and your wife, and she seemed to get along with you. So you must not be that bad of a
Ooh,
guy.
woo! That well, I hope not. Jeez, because she did seem like a mighty fine lady you have there, and it's funny how we
She does.
talk about. Last night we had a conversation with another guest, and we talked about our wives too. So that's kind of the reoccurring thing here. We have good wives.
I feel like it just goes a long ways. I mean, having that support, and if it's in life in general, not just hunting and fishing, but in your career, if you're a musician or if you're a traveling electrician or a lineman that's on the road, like it's all the same in my eyes. And I think that's why, she supports me as far as she sees the music side of it's my career, rather than I'm going to play music.
Hmm.
Well, and I felt like, when I was younger or
So,
wherever else, it's interesting because you always saw that table that the band would go sit by, and you'd go wonder what they were talking about. And this time I got to be that table that the band came and sat by because
it's
we had
just
a
it's just it's normal conversation.
because we had that wife there. So if no, she is a wonderful person, and it's just great. And we had a good time with her, and great time listening to you. And I'd like to just, what got you playing country music?
Well, I mean, kind of a long story short. I mean, my dad had a band. Um, when I was growing up, I was the late bloomer in the family. I came like 10 minutes or 10 years after uh, my other brothers. So my dad had a band, and my brothers played. My one player played drums, and one brother played bass. So I was always helping load the gear, and they would go play wedding dances and stuff like that, and I could never go. And then I started going eventually when I got older, and then to fast forward that, my brother played in bands, and then I always wanted to go when he played local. So my parents would drop me off at the back door, and I'd get to go sit by the sound guy and just see what Brother Chubbs, we call him Brother Chubbs, and see what he did, and I always wanted to do that. So um, when I was in high school, I mean, wanted to start a band, and we played, some like 80s and 90s rock and some country, and like we didn't know what the heck we were doing, but
Yeah.
we uh we started playing, and yeah, it kind of took from there, and then it got kind of more serious as far as like, oh wow, this is could be like a career, and just kept working and busted tail. I mean, that story could last the whole hour in general, but yeah, and I'm very happy with where it's at today, and the friends and the relationships I've made of as far as with musicians, or I mean, with a guy like yourself. Like I've gone hunting and fishing with tons of people that I met on the road, and it's just like it blows me away that so many people are welcoming in to their house or their boat or their community, and I have a hard time really accepting that. And my wife will tell me that I'm kind of stubborn that way. But on the flip side, if somebody came to my house and wanted to, I would offer the same thing. So I don't know why I have such a hard time like receiving it rather than like dishing it out.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I've offered for you to stay here, and you just keep on driving down the road in your blue van.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the one night I would have stayed there, and I probably should have stayed there, but I wanted to. Yeah,
I
yeah.
All the members of the band, are they all the original members from the beginning?
No. I've had the same group of guys now. My bass player, my drummer have been with me over 6 years.
Okay.
Um, our guitar player we had for about 6.5 years. We got a different guitar player right now. He's been with us almost 3. Um, so, uh, yeah, I'm really fortunate to have the same crew as far as my band. Sound guys, we have throughout 3 guys that run sound and 2 guys that run lights and production. So,
Mm.
um, it's fun when it's all the same dudes. It makes life so much easier.
Right, right. Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
eventually start getting on the same page, and anytime you got to introduce someone new, it's kind of a new learning curve, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating sometimes, but you do what you need to do, you know?
Right. That's cool.
Because it to me, the learning what you like to play as a band would be interest. It's one of those things like maybe I like this genre a little bit more than that genre or whatever, but we're all playing in the same band right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it took me a long time to realize, like, when I switched it over from like having a band to like having Mitch Gordon. Mitch Gordon was like 2013, where it wasn't just like we had the Unleaded band and like that was what we grew up with. So it was always, yeah, kind of a group decision, this and that. And then once it came Mitch Gordon, I was like, I still kind of treated it as a group decision, but like as it kept growing older, I realized that it's not a group decision. It's kind of like, well, it's Mitch Gordon's decision, and that's when we started writing songs. And like obviously, like I'm pretty lenient on, I always feel like the band I have now, them guys musically are like way over my head as far as like book smart on being music, knowing the theory, knowing all that stuff like that. So
Yep.
if they make a suggestion, I always try to be like, okay, like keep your eyes open, keep your ears open, and try it at least. And I'm always up for trying things, but as like the entertainer and the front guy, it's like it's my deal, and I try to make the best decisions for my product, if that makes sense, without being like cocky, I guess is the word.
Mhm.
But like those guys know, like, hey, we're gonna learn these songs, or Mitch wrote this song, so we're gonna play this song.
Hmm.
Um, they'll tell me like, hey, like if we called an audible in the set list and it didn't work out, they'll be like, hey, should we not do that tomorrow? And I'll be like, yeah, that was dumb, or like, yeah, like I didn't see a good change either, or something like that. So I guess it is still mutual, and I do rely on those guys. They'll never be just employees to me. And
Yeah.
that's the weirdest thing about having a band, because it's I shouldn't say you're never just an employee at your job either, but because you always have input, but like it's weird. You got to treat them like an employee, but you have to treat them as a musician and a buddy too. That makes the world go around, because like being a dentist and you have dental hygienists, like there's a lot of dental hygienists out there in the area rather than like a guitar player in the area, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Uh,
So
d- but I don't like
it's
having my
pretty,
teeth
it's pretty,
pulled.
oh dude, my best friend's a dentist. I hate the dentist. It's awful. I get there and I'm like, he's like, you got a cavity. I was like, no, I don't. I'm fine.
But I understand that. Yeah, that's but I mean, and it's funny because I've wanted a musician on here for a long time because you are doing something like you're chasing a dream and you're playing for people, and that's Don't Die Rusty for sure, because you're doing what you love, and you I mean you're traveling. I see most every weekend you're gone doing shows and stuff, and it's just one of those things that I don't think you would be doing it if it didn't fulfill you.
Yeah. I mean, it is my career and it is how I make my living and pay my bills. Um, but for the most part, I'm always looking forward to the weekend, or to this show, or to this opportunity, or meeting or hanging out with so and so. I think that what fuels me is the most, like the music's 50% of it. It sounds bad, but the music's like I take a lot of passion in the writing and the recording and all that stuff. But like that's one side of it. And the other side of it's like, meeting and up with people that I know, and how I got the show. And um, I guess how to really answer your question is, um, I had a couple good buddies that like so many people think like you making it in the music industry, you have to be Luke Combs, right? Or you have to be Kenny Chesney. And I had a couple of really good buddies in Tennessee when I used to go down there a lot. They're like, "What are you doing up there?" And I was like, "I'm doing this and doing that." And they're like, "Cool, like you should just stay there and keep doing that." And I was like, "Yeah, like that's kind of what I've been seeing." And so the route I took, like we play for people that like us and people that like we like them. And to travel like a solo show and go see you, Rick, and um, to travel all those stops we made, basically, we know people in every town. And like the guy I met at in Dubois, I met him from another buddy that used to guide elk out there. And then like we ended up going to Kansas to play his trucking company's party. And then like fast forward 4 years later, now I go down and hunt at his house and play a gig in his town. And it's like the guitar's always with me, it seems like, because when I come to their town, they want me to play at their watering hole or their brewery or whatever. And I just think the path that I kind of realized I went down was like, you can make a living doing this and it doesn't have to be flashy. Like, we could play all the festivals and stuff like that. And that's a great scene to be in. And that's just not like totally 100% my avenue right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That does make sense because
Yeah.
you mentioned Kenny Chesney, which is funny because when he had "She Thinks My Tractor's Sexy," that's the only song he had out, and I was sitting on Alfalfa Bells in Fort Thompson, South Dakota, and I won tickets to his show when I was playing softball, and I was sitting on Alfalfa Bells, and I mean, there was no stadium show, of course, because you're in Fort Thompson, South Dakota, at a casino. But
Right.
it, I mean, I've been talking to a lot of people about this stuff. Well, not a lot, but a few people because see. I'd rather be up close and personal and at smaller places to see people because I think the music you feel it more when it's smaller. I mean,
Hmm.
smaller venues, you know what I mean? I love just the closeness and that kind of stuff, but I mean, I don't. I'm more of a red dirt person now, and where I like littler people, and I mean not. I shouldn't say littler. I should just say that aren't worried about getting that contract or whatever. I mean, Ricky
Well,
should.
I think it's just sharing the love, right? I mean, I see exactly what you're trying to say, and I like going to the small shows too. Um, I just feel like it's a better quality in general, right? And you never know. I guess to make the point clear, it's just like I really wish the majority of people saw like like they see you being playing and whatnot, but like the majority of the people that see the corporate music side or like to say like, well, like Mitch is just still like doing it out there, like just keeps playing, and like I guarantee there's people that like think that of me, and I'm like, some people that like I'm just over here in left field quietly making my deal, and I'm like loving 98% of it. I mean, there's a couple of percent of it sometimes you hate your job, but I mean, I think that's everybody, but I don't worry about what people think of me. And I know you guys mentioned that in your last podcast, but I stopped worrying that a long time ago. And I think once I stopped worrying about that, and just focusing on my thing, it leaves you be a little bit less indecisive, right? Like if the if the race car driver wants to make a change and he's comfortable with that and he's successful like with that change, then it's like, okay, like great. Like you have to have confidence in your change. Where like I'm gonna write this song and like, hey, I think this song's pretty good out of the batch I wrote in the last 2 weeks. Like, I'm gonna cut it, but I gotta be 100% into it, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
It doesn't really matter like what other people think of like what you're doing or whatever. You have to just pick an avenue and go with it.
Right.
And you should listen to last year. You put out a song called Buck Fever, correct?
7 verses of goodness.
Can I have it in my playlist here? I could, yeah, it's
Oh
funny.
man.
That
And
kind of name, I can't imagine it wouldn't be.
yeah, and it is a good song. It's one of those that, you know, you want to know something funny is there's certain songs I play to get me pumped up to go hunting. You know, there like I have a traditions of songs that give me luck. Although yours that didn't give me any luck, but it came out a little later last year than we'll try it this year.
This year luck. This
Yeah,
year luck.
there we go. But you know, I get in the vehicle and I'm going to where I'm going to go hunting, and I play certain songs because I don't know. It's just one of those things that I do. Maybe superstition or what, but you've got on that Let's Go Hunting playlist there, and
It's perfect. You should share that with me.
the Let's Go Hunting playlist.
You should share that with me.
Yeah, I will. So yeah.
Can you only if you put it on a cassette tape though? You have
Oh Jesus.
Hey, we're
you have
going
to
8-track
Yeah.
here, man.
you have to make them
Yeah.
you have to make them a tape.
Yeah.
Do you think would you even if Rick sent you a tape, Mitch, would you even have like a device to play it on?
I do.
I
I
don't think
have
I would.
I have a shop radio. It's like a boombox radio that's always on.
There
Oh,
we
nice.
go.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't say it works, but
But
I've got one of those little handheld recorders, that you would use to record like memos and notes, and it's like this big, and now everything's just like microscopic. So.
golly, I remember those days. I remember those. I remember when I had a CD, an individual CD player in my car or on my brother's truck, and you could use the tape to put in the tape deck with the 1/8-inch cord into the CD player.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
But
Well, Rick probably remembers the days when we used to wait for the song to come on the radio, and then you would hit record on the tape player so you could get the song.
I would even call in and request a song. Yeah.
There you go. See, that's
Oh, you would.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming up.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That is funny. That is funny.
But
I used to record Dukes of Hazzard episodes on VHS on my like a blank. I used to buy blank VHS tapes and then record them when they came on
there you
TV.
go.
oh
There you
yeah.
go. That's
It
the Dukes of Hazzard.
But it's
Heck
funny
yeah.
because I would like to have those mixtapes I made for the girls that I made those mixtape for that probably threw them away, or because I wish I knew what songs I put on them.
I was just trying to think of that. What would Rick's playlist have been back in high school?
Oh,
But it's been I don't know. It's been interesting. I would love to know what I put on those mixtapes, but no, it's
so you don't have them anymore?
I don't have any more
You don't
girlfriends.
have. Well, that's good.
That is.
That's
I think
good.
our wives would appreciate that.
Probably like Barry White and Al
Mm.
Green.
No, it would have been more like Cinderella, Home Sweet
Okay.
Home. Like I
Right.
was,
Oh, rocker.
well, I was a rock. It's funny because we just talked about this last night on a different. I know it was with. Well, when we talked to Dan Horgan, and we
Yeah.
were talking about music, and I was, I didn't know there was anything but country music till I was a freshman. Because
Okay.
because really, the radio is controlled by my mom and dad, and then it was old country. It was, any records were. I mean, I'm Johnny Horton to Red Savine, Farron Young, Patsy Cline. I mean, old, but I love them yet. And then I got to high school, and then I started listening to rock and roll 80s stuff, and then I went to college, then I got back, and then I didn't listen to it hardly at all ever. I mean, I listened to some, but now it's
Right.
George Strait was then, and that kind of stuff came out.
Right.
That he was, and I was just that's where I went, and that's the direction I've gone now mostly. I mean, I'm not saying I don't listen to other genres, but my radio, my well, not my radio now. My iPhone is on. I find my own songs, you know.
Yeah, you got a pretty good mix. You know, every time we're out shooting, you're the DJ, and you got a good solid mix of stuff.
Well, I try to
All
keep
What do you listen to right now?
well, you
What's your go-to?
my actually it's the Red Clay Strays right now. I'm
Really
I
interesting.
I am a big. We went and saw Turnpike last week, and Red Clay Strays were opening for them, and I, if I had to go do it all again, I'd go see Red Clay Strays again. I don't know if I'd go see Turnpike Troubadours.
Really?
No, they didn't.
Wow.
To me,
Cool.
they didn't. You know, I think I would have saw Turnpike a few years ago, but I think the Red Clay Strays right now. That's my. They, their songs just mean something to me. Of course, I'm a Core Blunt, Coulter Walls, um, Tyler
Yeah,
Childers. Um, those are right now my go to. Core Blunt. I'm I'm just those are just some of the things that I've. But the Red Clay Strays have made. I don't know what it is about them. It's just that they've kind of hit me in the heart when I listen to their songs too. I mean, I listen to
yeah.
lyrics, you know,
Hmm.
and they put on a good show. Actually, you aren't going to believe this. Like we're at Cheyenne Frontier Days, and there were people that came to see the Red Clay Strays, and they left after in the intermission between Turnpike, because and
That's
then
crazy.
it surprised me because we stayed, and I'm still like Turnpike, and I like.
Hmm.
I mean, my favorite one of the Turnpikes is "Before the Devil Knows You're Dead." That's my favorite song
Ah,
because this is about.
crazy good song.
It's a song about living, Ricky. I don't know if you've ever listened to it or not, but
I don't know if I've heard that one.
it's about
Maybe I'll get to heaven before the devil knows we're dead.
yeah,
Oh, it's a good song.
because it's about you're living your life to the fullest. That's why I like it. Let's do all this stuff, and if we die, we hope we die before the devil knows we're dead. So,
Yep.
Oh
but
Can't
man,
no,
scoop you up.
yeah,
to get back to all the music that I love. I have a 4-year-old daughter, so it's you know Taylor Swift, um,
Oh man.
Lady Gaga, uh, Blippy, Bluey,
hmm.
Danny Go. I mean, it's so yeah, I can't. I Whiskey Myers a lot lately because we just saw him when they came to Minneapolis here, so was
Sure.
jamming that for for a good amount of time just to remind myself of what real music sounds like.
Yeah,
Oh, right, right.
and Cody Jinks and Charlie Crockett too. I mean, I really
Oh
tried.
yeah.
I tried to get my dad. Charlie Crockett is more of that 50s sounding to me, 50s sounding country that my dad would like. I think.
Are you Cody?
And
Are you a Cody Jinks fan, Mitch?
I am. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like a diehard Code Jinks song fan. I like his stuff.
Did you see him when he came when he was here last? I think it was last summer.
No, I didn't. The
Was
love hate about being a musician is if you are a traveling or like if you do play music every Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Yeah.
you never get to go to the shows.
Yep.
And
Of course.
that's always a bummer for me where like last Thursday I played like a dinner show and then 49 Winchester was in town and
Oh,
I was like I'm gonna go see these guys. Like I don't even I'll go by myself. I went by myself. It was great. Had an opener and once again a small venue, but um, the Charlie Crockett story. I was just talking to my brother about that today. He put out a new album, I think today. Uh, don't quote me on that. But his story was like he lived on the streets in
yes.
LA for years. Um, there's a cool documentary out there about him, but that's like we've all like for the most part we've all went through the motions of playing and booking gigs and playing and booking gigs for 0 people, and then you get a good night and like all this stuff, right? And it's kind of the long haul game, but like I can't imagine what it would be like to just like have his story and like all he had was music, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all he had to make it go for him. And like he probably that was all he did was music, you know?
Hmm.
You know, and and those are the inspiring things when you watch their like some of their documentaries on other people too, and like that, or you know, I like. It's funny you go back to the early days when like I mean, you can go to a coal miner's daughter or the Patsy Cline or it's amazing watching their stories. I mean, Patsy Cline dying in a plane wreck, or how Waylon Jennings didn't get on the plane with the Big Bopper and those got Richie Valens, or he would have been dead. Or you watch these Buddy Holly story and you go, they loved music and that's what they did. And that's what I'm
Uh-huh.
seeing with you. You know what I mean? You love music and that's what you do. Or am I wrong?
No, I absolutely love it. I mean, like obviously, like I've said before, like there's a small percentage stuff of times that you don't love it or you don't necessarily want to go, you know. Um, but it's very, 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 very small percentage, and um, I just love the entertainment part of the things. Like I used to get in the car after shows and I'd be frustrated, and my guitar player would be like, "Dude, why are you frustrated?" And I'd be like, "I don't know. I just feel like I couldn't win those people tonight." Like I stood up there and I told my story with the band, and I told all my like little stories before my songs, and like I feel like they didn't listen or they didn't, they weren't engaged. And but then everybody's like, "Oh man, we loved your stuff and this and that," and I'm like, "Oh cool," but like every crowd is so different, and what fires me up is like when I get to tell my stories up there, tell like everything about me, is that when people laugh and like uh or people just light up, right? Like I remember we were playing a show in Wisconsin and these we played a Wade Bowen song, and when you play like a Wade Bowen or a Texas like a Texas song, there's a small percentage of people that know that, even though that's growing really rapidly. And I could tell like there's two girls in the back, they were just like they're like, wow, he's playing Wade Bowen. We really dig this. And that was like that's all it took for me. Like 7 songs in, we played Wade Bowen, and like they were just in awe that we played that song. And I was like, and I love that song by Wade Bowen, so I was like, that made my night,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So I think it's just the like I said, the music's 50% of it, but the other 50% is like I just want to see people happy and have a great time. And I feel like sometimes like when you play the bar shows and like single people coming to my show and all of a sudden like, oh, that person and that person are now dating. And now like I'm playing that couple's wedding this Saturday. Like I think it's so
Yeah.
cool. They're like they think it's the best thing to be like, well, we met at your show and like it was so much fun and like we just feel like we should have you for a wedding. And I'm like, you dang right. Like that's awesome.
That is really cool. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I see a parallel here too because you're probably quite a bit more talented than Rick and I are. But when it
Wow.
comes to the Don't Die Rusty podcast, like you know, it's similar in that sometimes it's like, oh, I don't how are we doing? Like, are we doing good? Do we, you know, what's going on? And then all of a sudden you get like that one message, even if it's just
Yep.
like one a week, but you get the one message from somebody that's just like, you guys are doing awesome. You guys are doing great. And I come to realize that people aren't inclined to just come out of the woodwork and just say, hey, you're doing good. But it's amazing to hear that. And for us, again, just like you were saying, if this episode can help one person, that's all that matters, really. I mean,
Hmm.
because that spreads, to the, then
Hmm.
they spread the word, and then those people spread the word. And so it's just that's what makes us feel good inside, because that's really ultimately what we want to do, is just impact people. And I think it's really cool that I can't imagine that feeling of two people saying, yeah, we met at your show and now we want you to
Hmm.
play at our wedding. That's incredible. That's so cool.
And like I said, it's what I'm doing is kind of a different avenue than taking the regional band route where you play all the festivals and your national band and you're about that, like the variety of different shows that I get to play. Like I said, it might not be flashy, but sometimes it's flashy and sometimes it's like, oh yeah, look at us, But I think, and it's for me too, Rick. It's not a it's a lyric or a line or a song from any other artist too, um, that makes me like, dang, like such a good song, like, or that's such a good tag, or that's such a good meaning.
Yeah.
um and then I try to like show my wife, or like show somebody, or send it to four people after drinking 2 cups of coffee in the morning. I'm all fired up. um but yeah, I think the music thing is just not even the music thing. It's just going back to, this is how I was going to wrap it in, to your podcast. Like, Don't Die Rusty is like totally me, like from a huge perspective, but like it's just good people helping good people. And if it's a song, or if it's a calling a friend and like checking in, or like anything of those situations are meaningful to somebody, sending somebody a gift, or like there's just so many ways to like just be a good human, and it doesn't have to be a musician to like make you feel that way.
Right. Yeah.
100%. And it's funny because I'm looking at Ricky, and Ricky was going to say the same thing I just was going to say when he said it a little bit ago, because we get tired at times. Not, I mean, people don't realize the work that goes into putting in a podcast at times, and trying to round up guests, and then Ricky's doing editing and I'm trying to get posts out, and we're all, I mean, and sometimes we get frustrated, and because I have technological ineptness, and I get frustrated with myself, but when we get those messages about, like, from any listener, and it's funny because like, if I get a text message on my phone, that and I send it right there. I send it to Ricky to say, we're doing good, or Ricky will send me one that somebody sent him. And that's the same I feel with the music, because like you said, it's amazing, really. Like, I can be sitting in the back of a place and listening to the band, and like those two girls that listen the Wade Bowen song. And I would have been the same way, like when you play a song and I go, "Oh, now we're talking. Now we're cooking." You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, and
Yeah.
that makes you feel like you're part of something, and like, I know this song like more than I know this song, but it's like you're playing Wade Bowen, or you're playing this or that. It just makes you happy. Like, huh, this is cool.
Well, it makes you feel like something. Like it feels like you're actually a part of, like when you go see the Red Clay Strays, and like you were prepared to go see that show, like you felt like entitled, like you were there, like you were a part of it. You
Hmm.
weren't just like the guy in the back, like you were there and you were ready to go for it. Um, yeah, it's crazy. It's
So
wild.
I do see. I mean, I don't know if Ricky sees this too, because I just have this big vision, and sometimes, like I said just a second ago, that Ricky and I think alike in that aspect. But I do see, like, I don't know if you want to be mainstream number one, but I do see "Don't Die Rusty" a song as a number one song in America.
Hey,
In America.
if hey, I can't promise it's gonna be written well, but if you got the funds, we can make it go number one.
All
I just need a lot.
right.
I need a lot of funds. A lot of
Yeah.
funds.
No,
So
no. So,
I opened for a guy. I opened for a guy one time. I won't say his name, but I was with their management, and I said, how's the radio thing going? And he said, good, man. I said, heard that's pretty penny. Yeah. I said, 6 figures, huh? He goes, yeah, times 5. I was like, holy
Ooh,
buckets.
jeez, yeah.
Wow,
Crazy,
But
crazy.
so
that's wild.
we talked earlier about some of our. Who are your influences? We talked about our like who we
Um,
like to listen to, but who are your influences?
as far as musicians go, like I like the Texas stuff and the way them guys are doing it. Um, they're busy. They're playing quality, good shows with a good small group of like a crew and a band with keeping the same guys for the most part. They're getting a lot more recognition now. I feel the world is it's about that right now. It's about being personal. It's about um, going back to almost 101 and with your fans. So like I like the Texas guys. Um, I really like a guy named Zach Top right now. He's I think he's from Washington.
Hmm.
Have you heard of Zach Top?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. That guy, like I'm a 90s guy and the 90s is just in
Yep.
right now. I mean, period. Like from what everybody's wearing to like the music to the like vibes of everything. Um, I like the Cody Johnson thing is incredible. I stood there a couple years ago when we went for my birthday, and I just I just stood there. I was just like, this is fantastic. Like I always pick apart stuff. Like, oh, this could have been better, or that could have been better. I'm like, nope, this is just fantastic. And like the Zach Top thing is, even though it's labeled corporate country music, um, that guy can sing like a bird, and like he's providing country music, and I think that's what it needs to happen. It started with Cody Johnson and him going into the corporate country. This is just me
Yeah.
talking out of
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
butt, but like
No.
that's the way I see it as an independent guy. So um, I get a lot of questions on who is your influence. I guess those guys are my influence. Anybody that's doing it consistently and well. I think we all feed off each other. So
Mhm.
um, my buddy Bronson Bergeson is like I met him probably 15 years ago, 12 years ago probably. He's a guy from Wisconsin. He wrote Buck Fever with me. Um, and he's just one of the best dudes. And he like literally took me under his wing and like being influential he is totally influenced. Like I can call him and be like, hey, we got a rain clause going on right now. Like, what would you do in this situation? And I can talk to him about it. So like I feel like it's not just a singer or a big star. It's like somebody that helps you out.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So
that's cool.
and, yeah, and and also I think like not being musicians, but like people that get their ass out of bed in the morning and get after it. Like they, I'm a big like anybody who does that. Like I want to meet him. I want to talk to him. I want like let's go do this. Let's go do that. Like let's get out of bed and do something in the morning.
Yep. Well,
So
then you need to stop out here sometime.
yeah, when I first met you, I was like, what do you do? You like climb a like what? Okay, all right. I like this. It's fantastic.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
I don't know if it would be we could hear it, but you should try playing us a song here.
Oh man, I
Yeah,
can. Yeah.
We know you
What do
have
you?
the guitar there.
that'd be cool.
No, I was just playing before you hopped
Yeah.
on. What do you want to hear? Do you want to hear the hunting song? Do you want to hear
Well,
some beer joint song or?
Ricky, I think you should play the Buck Fever.
Okay,
Yeah.
let me give this thing a quick tune and never played with ear pads in before, so we'll see if it sounds all right. All right. Well, let's see how it sounds.
All
It's
right.
let's see if you can hang in there for all 7 verses.
this morning, couldn't sleep a wink last night. Shadows moving across the wall, my mind is running wild. And I know the morning's coming, my alarm ain't gone off yet. Every year I hope this is the day I won't forget. I'm a shivering and I'm sweating as my bare feet hit the floor. My head is still a pounding, I can't take it anymore. I tried to pour some coffee, my hands they won't sit still. And I know he's out there somewhere and my nerves have gone to hell. I've got bug fever, I've been seeing him in my dreams. Bug fever, biggest racket ever seen. Bug fever, and if he walks with my dear stand, I'm gonna put him in my sights and send him to the promised land. I fried up some bacon, cracked a couple eggs. I shuffled through the kitchen on my skinny shaking legs. I put on my thermal underwear and my lucky wool socks too. That sweater grandma made me in my one-piece blaze orange suit. I stacked that clip with bullets, took my gun out of its case. I stared down my reflection as I painted up my face. I grabbed my rattling antlers, grunt call and hunting boots. Had a cigarette, Mountain Dew, and a big old pinch of snooze. I've got bug fever, I caught him on my trail cam. Bug fever, I hope he comes by my stand. Bug fever, and if I see him again, I'm gonna put him in my sights and send him to the promised land. Oh, here we go. Well, I made it to my deer stand and I'm tethered to this tree. 10 minutes since the sun came up and I can finally see he's 100 yards and closing. I got the crosshairs on his chest. My whole body is a-shaking and I can't catch my breath. I told myself to settle down, but I pulled that trigger fast. The kick of that old rifle knocked me off my ass. I squeezed off 2 more shots. I swing it from that tree, and once again that old buck fever got the best of me. I got bug fever, I missed twice and nicked his ear. Bug fever, I hope he's around next year. Bug fever, and if I see him again, I'm gonna put him in my sights and send him to the promised land. I'm gonna put him in my sights and send him to the promised land. Venison steaks, how sweet they taste. If I could only shoot straight, I'd put them on the wall for all to see. The bug fever, it got the best of me.
There you go.
Woo!
Woo!
Nice.
Yeah.
I hope it was all right. I couldn't hear myself with that earplug in the whole time.
Good job, man. That's awesome.
There we go.
Yeah, and then yeah, catch that on Apple or iTunes or wherever else you get your music.
Wherever you get it, show it to all your hunting buddies.
Exactly, but try not to have buck fever yourself.
I know.
Oh man, been there many times.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool. Thanks for doing that, man. That's great.
Yeah. And then you need to get out here. Someday I might need to get back out there or something. I mean, knowing that you're going to be like on the border or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rick too, if you're ever in Maple Lake or near, let me know.
Yeah, for sure. And I was looking at your July shows, but it looks like you got the one up there in Pine City, but I don't know if I'll be able to make that one, but I'll keep an eye out for your August shows. Do you have any coming up there in August?
Yeah, I think we have 10 or 12 in August, I think. So
Okay.
we're all over. Well, if it ain't soon, it'll be sometime near you.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
you said
Definitely.
you're in Anoka.
Yeah, I work in Anoka, but I live in
Oh,
Hamilton. So
okay. I played in Anoka last Thursday.
did you? Wow. Yeah,
Yes.
I'll keep a close eye out. I'm sure you'll come around soon enough. So be able to come check
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, and then
Love it. I love it.
you're a motorcycle, snow cycle loving kind of singer too.
Yeah, I like so my one brother Chubbs got me into music. And then my other brother Scott got me into like motors and stuff and snowmobiles, dirt bikes, the whole thing. Um yeah, I love riding some motocross and um I have a snow bike out in Colorado at a buddy's house where I hunt and go snow biking and tour out there and play some music. So getting ready to go out there in September to go hang out with those guys and play some music and do some hunting. And yeah, I like I just like doing things. My wife said the other day I said something about like I watched the sun come up or whatever, and she's like, "Are you gonna be the old guy that like does a bunch of things before 8?" And I was like, I just like being awake. And then I was like thinking about it. I'm like, all the things I did before 8. I'm gonna write a song about that today. And I should send it to you. It was just super funny. It was just like I'm just gonna write this exercise of all these things I did before 8.
Yeah,
Oh, it was fantastic.
that's awesome.
But yeah, I'm probably one of the lesser musicians that that likes to wake up early in the morning, but um, it's
Well,
kind of the realm of our band.
well, you do, and then like if you follow Mitch, he does some. Is it called old guy stuff or
Old man stuff.
old
Old
man
man
stuff?
stuff.
Yeah,
Ah, I was gonna do a video tonight, but I was trying to I was washing my dirt bike up,
yeah.
and my father-in-law just gave me a backpack blower because he had two of them, and I washed my dirt bike all up and it was oil in the chain and everything and it was like still dripping dry and I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna go get the backpack blower and blow this off. It would be something an old man would do. Yeah, you can follow along, folks. Dragon season is usually, yard dragon season and dragging the driveways. It starts in about, April, sometimes March, depending on the year.
Yeah,
Fertilizing yards. Sometimes you got to roll your yard, and get the bumps out of it.
yeah. He has some really good ones.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a good thing that I'm an old man sometimes, but I don't know.
Well, I like watching them. I see him here, so yeah. And it's funny because, like I said, it's fun to go and listen to a guy that has passion and loves what you're doing too, and then doing the old man stuff, and that's just fun.
Well, it's just me doing my. I always say it's just me doing my thing,
Well, good.
Yeah, yeah, I love that.
and I'm glad people like to be there and be a part of it.
Well, we're getting to the end here, and we ask one last question every time, and that is, what's a good life to Mitch Gordon?
What's the good life?
Yes.
Um, there's a lot of things. Uh, the good life to me is I like playing my songs and playing my guitar. I like hanging out with my wife. I like entertaining. I like just to be around people and good friends of mine and sharing experiences with everybody. Life's too short to be nervous or be upset or be negative. Just be positive, man, and you know keep everybody close that you love and enjoy the time you get with everybody. And um, yeah, I just I love being out there. I love staying busy. I love hunting and fishing and all the above and playing music and entertaining people and can't go wrong.
No, you
I love
can't.
it.
I do too.
That's cool.
Uh,
Yeah.
like I love that and then you can say tell the wife, I have to play a show in Colorado, and guess what? It's elk season too.
Well, I mean, yeah, it helps the cause, and I mean, everybody hunts on the weekends, so you might as well take the weekend off and go play some shows.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I'm very thankful for that. I really am. I thank the man above for all that stuff, because that's uh, not many people get to go out there and play the show and obviously make money and have a place to stay and good people that are out there, and it's full circle.
Well,
Yeah.
I feel lucky that we got to have you on tonight, and hopefully someday we can get together and collaborate on a Don't Die Rusty song here, and
Yeah,
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 yeah, it's just keep things a rolling.
yeah, and yeah. I mean, I hope we can definitely do it again. I feel like we barely started seasoning the back straps, man. We didn't even put them in the grill yet.
No, we haven't, we haven't. Yeah, it's just that's why we want people to keep on coming back for more.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you let me know when we want to do it again. I'd love to do it, and maybe we can share some hunting stories next time or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we should see that maybe, maybe we should do it after like in December after the hunting season, and to
Yeah.
see if all three of us maybe got buck fever or not.
Yeah.
I hope not. I hope none of. I don't wish that on anybody.
Well, I'm not saying we're wishing it. I'm saying
Right.
maybe it
Oh,
happened. Yeah,
I got. I've got to share a quick story.
yeah.
About bug. We I can't even. Well, I'm gonna message his name because I love the guy. We call him Sweets, and he was out hunting, and he's new to hunting, and my buddy had these water crates, and he put them by the ground, and it had like a rest on it like this, right? So he shoots at this deer in Wisconsin, and can't find any blood. Like must have missed it. Well, that later day, he goes, guys, I found where I hit, and his muzzle hit the top of the water crate and went
Oh.
through it. The bullet went through it.
Oh.
And the poor guy, I was like, oh my God, like you totally had bug fever. Like, I'm so sorry, but like that was fantastic. Oh.
Well, that's yeah. I
Funny.
mean, I've seen it and I've been a part of it myself, but I've seen it and then I've seen people eject all their shells out of their rifle and not even fire a shot.
Yep.
What?
And yeah, they're
Deer
just
deer
buck
make people
fever.
do dumb things.
Yes, it was a
Wow.
younger. He was. I think. I mean, I'm old now, but I was probably. I mean, I was probably 20 something, and he was a younger fella, and probably 14,
Mm.
15, and just never fired a shot. Just ejected all their shells. But you're looking at a like a Model 94 Winchester, a 30-30,
Mhm.
and just yeah,
Mhm.
it's one of those things like, and they think they're shooting.
Love it.
Yeah. So no, but
Mm.
no, but we'll have to get together, and what would be fun is like if you were out like going to a show and commenting on this thing or something. How I don't know how to do this, but go to a show and watch you do your magic.
Yeah, man. I'm all ears. I'm only a text message away. So I wish we could chat for 3-4 hours tonight. That'd be we could cover a lot of more ground. So
We
Mhm.
could. But
Yeah,
let's
we'll
get
definitely jump on again.
we will definitely
sweet.
maybe if you and Ricky can be there and do something, I don't know, if you're in Minnesota or whatever,
Yeah, we definitely gotta meet up. We can share some hunting stories, and we got Tommy involved. We might go 2-3 days. Who knows?
There we
You
go.
know, that would be a good combination right there. Yeah, you text Tommy, you get him figured out.
All
Well,
right.
you know what? Maybe I should fly out there, and
You should.
we'll just tie Tommy up and make him go along, and we could sit around a fire and just have a good old conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Be
we
fantastic.
might have to think about here's something, Rick. We could all meet up in Oaks, stay at the lodge there, and do some
Oh,
whitetail.
that
Do
would
some
even be,
whitetail.
yeah, that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
Oaks, North
And
I
Dakota.
like it.
then we can all go to the Angry Beaver.
That
You know,
would be
The Oaks in South Dakota, you said?
Oaks, North Dakota.
Oaks, North Dakota.
Actually, that'd be fun if you could get a gig at the Angry Beaver in Oaks, North Dakota, because we have a place to stay.
Let's do this. Yes, let's do this. Like,
That's the only place
do you
to
have
eat that we found is the Angry Beaver in Oaks, North Dakota.
it sounds like cold beer, whiskey, and yes, it sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and
They
then
got a
we'll drink.
solid. They got a solid bull rider.
Yeah, and
Oh my gosh.
then well, either I'll fly to Minneapolis and I'll just drop off my vehicle and get a ride to over there, and we'll tie up Tommy and make him come with us.
I'll pick you up. That'd be fantastic. We should work out the logistics of that. That'd be fantastic. Even if only if a couple of us can get tags and sit with each other, that'd be so much fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
it would.
Yeah,
It'd be
'cause I think it's like 4.5 hours from here, Rick. I think, or 4.5, 5 hours or something. It took me to get there, I think.
yeah, and
Uh,
I'm like on the 6th, but we just met up with a friend, and he's a hunting preacher, we call him. He's the one we did with Kelly Lovelace, and we actually stayed in a deer lodge there, and it's just a nice little place to hang out, and it'd be fun to sit in those, where the TVs were, it's kind of a U-shaped couch. We could hook up
Oh
and just
yeah.
start talking.
yeah,
I
yeah.
like it. I like it.
We'll have to figure this out.
Yep, you let me know. You let me know. We'll make that work. Angry Beaver, Mitch Gordon. I can see it now.
Mitch Gordon playing at the Angry Beaver in Oaks, North
Yes,
Dakota.
no doubt. That would be awesome.
I like it.
Yes. It's just, and now he's getting me to think about that Angry Beaver place. It was just funny. It was a funny place. So,
Oh my god.
Bad like beaver taxidermy mount in there that we took
Oh
a
really?
picture next to. Me and Rick did. Wasn't it like a bad? Wasn't it pretty ugly looking?
it
I
wasn't
remember.
great. It's
Yeah.
funny. It's funny how Mitch was talking about, you kind of find technical things of other artists or this and that, and I'm a technical, like, I really like to look at taxidermy, and that wasn't great. I'm not
I
gonna
agree with you.
this is a family show, so I'm not gonna talk about beavers much, but you know what I'm talking about. No,
Yes, I can just imagine
it's
what's going through your brain right now.
Uh,
but I mean, it is true though. I look at a lot of taxidermy, like I love going to like the Western Hunting Expo is fun to go to because you look at some and you go, that's pretty doggone good, and then you look at others and you go, I don't think I'll have you do anything. Wouldn't do anything for me, And I have I honestly think, mine, the taxidermist I use is wonderful, and I've never had a bad mount yet. But
I like when they have character, and I'm like, just got my buck back. Well, I got it back a long time ago from last year, but like he's got his like chin hairs and whiskers, and he has like drool almost coming off them,
mm,
and I'm like, dang, like that's cool,
yeah.
you know?
because have you ever, there are some that put out the same thing. I mean, all three of us could have shot different deer in different places.
Yep,
I'm talking about,
yep.
you could shoot one in Minnesota, you could shoot one in Wisconsin, I could shoot one in South Dakota, but they all look the same. It's like, I've had that. I've seen those. I don't have that because luckily, like I said, Eric, it's Eric Loken at Sheep Mountain Taxidermy. He does some of the best stuff. He did my full body mount and go. Everything in my basement is what he did for me, and I judge it
Let's just
by
have a podcast talking about Rick's basement. Good Lord.
Right? Yeah.
I, this guy Tommy sets me up with this guy. This guy that sells me deer piece sets me up with this Rick guy, and then I go into his basement. I'm like, oh my god.
Here's
Jeez.
here's the photo. I guess the beaver's
Look at that.
it's just
See?
not that
Look
bad,
at that
but-
thing.
And you should play there. We could,
Oh, dude, that place looks fantastic.
I think that was the only picture I got.
And we don't play instruments, but it could be Mitch Gordon and the Angry Beaver Band, and we could just be like playing tambourines.
I think you guys should just stick to drinking, and I'll take care of the music, and then we'll all drink after.
Here you go.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if I took any other pictures while we were out there, but I don't think I did.
That was
That's so funny.
But no, it was fun. So, but no, it's funny how we start ending a podcast and we started talking about taxidermy, and that's what we do because we never know what direction we're going to go or where this is going to end. But it's one of those cool things. It's like Ricky got to meet you now, Mitch.
Yeah.
Yep.
And this is what it's all about, is putting good people in touch with good people and going where we are. Because like, heck, I don't think I'd seen you. I think you passed through and went to, because Mitch always seems to go to Du Bois about every New Year's, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, not this year, unfortunately. I got to break the streak for some friend's wedding, but
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm usually always going through there or going to Colorado, and yeah, I've tried like hell, Rick, to get some gigs in Spearfish, but it's harder than it's meant to be. I guess I don't know.
Well, it is tough, but I need to look around. I mean, I've found a few more places that might be close, or or we need to go to that. We need to go to that, like a little town around here, because it's funny how live music is tough to find anymore.
Mm-hmm.
What about Terry Peak during TAC?
That'd be fun too, to shoot with you and then you play at TAC. That'd be fun. Maybe we'd have our own.
I got a couple of buddies that do the tax, and they have bands, and that was actually, I was going to reach out to some of those for next year. I was thinking about that today. So there was a little thing. Well, you probably heard of Rick and Bowfest up there in Superior.
Mm-hmm.
I played that a few times, or one time actually.
All right.
And yeah, that was super fun, and it was just like one of those gigs where I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play some music and shoot my bow, but then I gotta leave after. This is lame.
No, because it'd be good. It's just good to be around the good people, and it'd be fun to go to play at attack or go to attack or do whatever, but we need to get together and come and watch you play, and then hang out afterwards and just have a good conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll make it happen sometime here.
All right, I love hearing that. So
yeah, good to meet you, man. Thanks so much for your time, and
yeah,
I love your story. I think that so many people get hung up on, like you gotta like make it big, or you gotta, all those kinds of things. And I think I can kind of relate to with the old man stuff, right? Like I feel like maybe I'm getting older, and that I value time more than anything.
mm-hmm.
And just the fact that you're following your dreams and you're doing what you want to do, and you're not stressing yourself out about hitting it big, or you know what I mean? Like you're just doing what you got to do to live and be happy and do the things that you want to do. And I love that. I think that's a good message for a lot of people, where you don't need a whole lot, as far as you just need things that fulfill your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that fill your bucket. That's the most important thing. And so I
Mm-hmm.
love that. I love your story. So
Thanks, man. I'm glad you see it that way, because yeah, that's kind of what the envision is. So
and hey, I'm sure you have ambition, where you want things to grow too, right? So there's always that. But again, I think there's a focus on what's most important, and I think that's you have a good message to give people in that respect.
yeah, that's right now. That's what I'm seeing. Don't get me wrong. If I got a chance to play the Grand Ole Opry someday, which is an end goal of mine. Or if Cody Johnson came calling and wanted me to go on tour with him, that's sign me up.
Yeah, you
But
hear that, Cody Johnson?
yeah, until then.
Yeah. But
Oh man.
but Ricky said, and like you are. It's so nice to talk to somebody that is chasing their dreams, like Ricky said, and living. Not many people get to live their best life doing what they really want to do,
Hmm.
Right.
and
And
you're an example of that. And for people to see, like, you know what, Mitch is doing what he loves to do, and to be able to do that stuff that means a lot more in this day and age than before. It's not like putting in the hours and I'm done and I hate my job and I don't want to do, I'm just
mhm,
go there and come home, and you're living your best life doing what you want to do. I mean, I wish I could. I mean, I wish I could do a lot of things, and we're getting there. Actually, Don't Die Rusty has opened our eyes too, that what, things are possible.
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think for me, it's like I've built it from when I was 16. Like I mean, I shouldn't say haven't had any help, because I mean, obviously, good people have helped me along the way. Um, but if you're looking at, like, if I had a manager or a booking agent that came in and really, like, took me, and like, or an investor, or like, funding wise, or the whole picture, like, I built the thing, and I booked the shows, and I bought the gear, and I bought, like, the trailer. And it's like, so yeah, like, I think a lot of people, I saw a buddy of mine, he's a super successful dude and one of the best dudes on the planet. Um, he shared something the other day, and a lot of people see, like, the front side of the t-shirt says, like, oh man, must be nice, kind of thing. But like, what they don't see is, like, of all the dirt work that you had to do the last 16 years to get there. And I never look at, you can look at that quote in two ways, like, it's just some guy, like, bragging about himself, kind of thing. Or you can look at it as, like, yeah, I know what that guy has went through. Um, and it's not all flowers. So, and I think that's any business or any entrepreneur.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
hang in the game. So, like, Rick, if you're climbing the mountain in the morning and you never climbed the mountain before, you're gonna get your butt kicked.
Yep.
And in 4 weeks, you're still gonna get your butt kicked. In 6 months, you might see some progress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's anybody's profession, I think.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Yep.
So no,
Hmm.
no, this is just good to give people an eye opener and give them a dream. And if it's not music, if it's something else, that you can go do this, but you have to put the
Hmm.
effort into it. Let's just, like Ricky was talking earlier, don't die rusty. Like, there's days you get tired, like we talked earlier, and you question yourself, but when you get those little nudges, we'll say, it makes it all the worthwhile. And
Hmm.
in you're living Don't Die Rusty, and we're trying to live Don't Die Rusty, and and other people are too. So
I got you right here. Actually, I got you. I put your sticker on all of my other. Wait.
Whoa! We're on the
Yeah.
car case.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
Yes, sir. Thank you for that.
Yes. So
I think it's just a cool. It's just a cool mod. It's just a cool motto. I think it's awesome.
it is. So, well, thank you for being on the Don't Die Rusty, Mitch, and we truly thank you, and it's awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. thanks a
Appreciate you guys. This is fun, and I feel like I have a lot more to say. But until next time.
Well, all right. Well, next time, so then you'll save it up, and then you'll tell us everything you have to say. So that would be good.
lot.
So, but yeah. So anyway, Don't Die Rusty fans, keep chasing your dreams, and of course, don't die rusty.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mitch.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Appreciate it.